Hi there, it's Susan Milner with Florida Future Realty, continuing on with this buyer series, and today we're going to be discussing part 3 of our buyer series, and that is finding a real estate agent. So in the first 2 parts, you've already got your pre-approval and fixture credit if necessary. Now it's time to meet an agent so you can, go on to the next step, which is find a house. So today we want to discuss hiring an agent. Almost everyone I know knows at least 1 or 2 real estate agents, and sometimes they make the mistake of going with somebody just because they're a friend of theirs or a daughter or cousin or whatever. And sometimes that's not the best option for you. It can be if they're the right person for the job, but sometimes it's not the right person for the job. And so I want to discuss how to choose a real estate agent. Now, obviously, if you're in Southwest Florida in the Cape Coral, Fort Myers area, you're going to be calling Florida Future Realty, and we're going to hook you up with the best agent at our office to help you with this purchase. However, if you are not local, here are some things that I want you to do to make sure that you're working with the right agent. Before you start randomly calling out of the phone book, I say go to the internet and start looking for real estate agents. You could type something in like Cape Coral real estate agent, something like that in the search engines, and then you're going to find some. And you can go on their website. Hopefully they at least have a website. See, do they have a search feature on their website that you can start looking for homes? Do they have information about buying a home? Do you see a picture of this agent? Do they have any reviews, testimonials from, other customers? Go ahead and reach out to those people, or go on Facebook and say, hey, who would you recommend as an agent in Cape Coral, Florida? And see who other people recommend and ask them why they recommend that agent. Then once you have a couple of different agents that you want to meet with, you give them a call and you set an appointment. It's not uncommon to call a real estate agent and get their voicemail, so don't be frustrated by that. However, if you leave a message, expect a phone call back by the end of business day, or if it's late in the afternoon, at least by early morning the next day. If they're not calling you back right away, if they didn't answer their phone, they're probably too busy, or maybe they're just unprofessional. A lot of real estate agents have other jobs. They're working, a different job Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and they're going to be calling you back when they're off of their other job. I don't think that's the right agent for you. You really want to find somebody that's working in real estate full-time so that they really understand what's going on in the marketplace, and they're seeing homes on a daily basis. They're working with other customers, so they have knowledge of the marketplace. Then once you finally talk to a couple agents on the phone, then you're going to want to go meet with an agent, and the agent should not just go show you homes. They should sit down with you and explain how the process is going to work. So you're going to come into their office, sit down with them, and they're going to go through like a buyer presentation. They're going to explain to you, to make sure that you've been pre-approved, which, because you're watching our series, you've already coming with that, which is awesome. They're going to go through, how expensive it is to own a home, and make sure that even though on paper you're qualified for a certain amount, that you still have extra money aside for all the things that go wrong on a house. Like my personal house, I just had to replace screens and lanai. I just had to pay somebody to trim up these giant bushes at my house. Both of my assistants in the last 2 weeks, their dryers went out at their house and they had to get new dryers. So these are all kind of things that are going to pop up when you're being a homeowner, and this agent should be going through that with you, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. If this is your second, third, fourth time and you know this, maybe they're not going to go through all that, but they should at least be handing out something to you that kind of explains these things, just in case you've forgotten. Maybe you've rented for a few years and you're so used to calling the landlord that you don't realize all of these costs that could be associated with the home. So it's not just the mortgage payment, it's not just the mortgage, insurance, and taxes, it's also the maintenance on the home and just these general things. Are you going to have a pool? Are you going to have a pool company take care of it? Or are you going to take care of it yourself? Are you going to have a lawn? Are you going to mow the lawn? Or are you going to take care of it yourself? These are all things to think about. So with that being said, make sure that you feel like the agent you're working with is competent and knowledgeable in these aspects. Then make sure that they understand the marketplace and that they've seen homes in your price point. And if your expectations are a little high, make sure that they kind of explain that to you. There's nothing worse than going out there and just be completely disappointed. Like if you tell me your budget's $150,000 and you want to be on the water and you want to have a pool, Unfortunately for you, I'm going to have to tell you that that's not possible in this market, and that we're probably either going to not be on the water or not have a pool, or we're going to have an older home that needs work. And these are things that a competent agent should be able to explain to you so that there aren't a lot of surprises when you get out there. They're going to also want to be explaining to you, like for instance in Cape Coral, there are city water and sewer coming in still if it's not already in the property. They're going to explain to you how that process works, what kind of fees you may be looking at, refer you over to the city department so that you can ask those questions yourself and make sure you get the right answers. These are very important things for you. They're going to talk to you about a little bit of closing costs. Granted, the mortgage broker should have already explained those to you, but the agent should also make sure that you understand what kind of costs are associated with purchasing the home. And they're going to ask you, are you asking for the seller to pay any of your closing costs? Just because your mortgage broker said to you, you can have them pay 3 to 6% of your closing costs, doesn't mean that you don't have to go ask the seller for that. It has to be part of the contract. So these are some common questions you want to ask your agent. You want to find out, how many home buyers are they helping each month. If they're helping, one home buyer a year, they're not, experienced enough. If they're helping a couple each month, then they probably have a good knowledge and understanding of the marketplace, and they're probably a good agent for you. So then you've decided on that agent, and you need to have loyalty to that agent. If you have an issue with the agent, discuss it with them. Agents don't get paid unless you buy a house from them. And so to hop from agent to agent to agent isn't really fair, and you're not going to get the best service from an agent if they feel like that's what you're going to do. So when you're out there during this process and you see a for sale by owner or a listing from another agent, call your agent and they'll be able to get the information for you. Don't hop around to other agents. There's been horror stories out there where another agent has said, oh, it's fine, come work with me. And a buyer has actually had to pay 2 commissions because they were committed to one agent and they started working with another agent. So you need to be very careful about that. And if you like that agent, you should want to work with that agent. If you don't like that agent, have a conversation with them, let them know that you're moving on because you don't really like that agent. If you're calling random real estate companies and getting just whoever's on floor duty or uptime as they call it, be very careful because typically speaking, in these brokerages, they're putting their agents who don't really have a lot of transactions, don't have a lot of business, or brand new to the business answering those calls and getting those buyer appointments. So be very careful. Like if you call Florida Future Realty, we don't just have an up agent. We have an in-house sales associate who talks to you and finds out your needs and then puts you with the right agent for your needs. But if you just call any just random person, you don't know who you're going to get. Like you might think, oh, this is a really big brokerage, they're probably going to have awesome agents. No, they take all kind of agents there, so you don't know who you're going to get. You want to make sure that you get the right agent for you. So go through the steps that I just went over in this video. Watch it again, take some notes if you missed anything, and make sure that you're with the right agent so that you can get started and have a successful transaction closing. Next week we're going to go through looking at houses and what kind of things to look at. So look forward to seeing you in the next series.